Who creates this money? How does it originate?
Whoever puts their signature on the negotiable instrument that the bank's going to monetize.
Okay, now this is the facts here. So let's go back. This here is the bank's account. The bank has $100 in their asset account. Now the bank's now a liability account or a demand deposit account has $100 in it. So John Jones walks in now, and John Jones wants a loan for $50. Right, keep this in mind now. When we lend money, that we deduct money, right, the amount of the loan. But when the bank makes a loan, that their assets and the bank's demand deposits accounts, they're increased by the amount of the loan. Something's wrong with this. Okay? Now, but to help us explain this, Jim, let's read book number 2. And first of all, let the people know what book this is.
A Primer on Money, the Subcommittee on Domestic Finance, Committee on Banking and Currency from the House of Representatives.
From who, Jim?
The House of Representatives.
Fine, that's Congress, isn't it?
The 88th Congress, second session.
Okay. Now, let's turn to page 19, and please read this very, very slowly now, and start from here down. I'm going to stop you as you read.
Imagine there's only one bank in the country, and that it has 2 private depositors, each with $50 in his checking account.
Okay, stop there now. Look at their chart here, Jim. This is their chart now. That's the house chart, okay? Now, what does it show here now that in cash deposits?
$100 in cash deposits.
Yeah, where did that come from?
That came from a customer depositing.
Yeah, from one or two? Two depositors putting $50 each.
Okay.
Right, so that's where that's from. Now, so let me ask you this now. When that money goes into the bank, now that becomes a liability of the bank. That's a demand deposit account. Now, so what does this show?
That shows the amount of money that the bank is holding from the 2 depositors.
And the bank owes that to whom?
The 2 depositors.
Right, so whose money is it?
The depositors.
Right, that's not the bank's money, is it?
It's not a, no,
right.
Liability for the bank. No.
Okay. Yeah, so what else does Patman say there? United States House.
The total bank demand deposits would then be $100.
Right, we all agree with that. 50 plus 50 is $100. It's simple, okay?
John Jones asked for a $50 loan from the bank, and the bank approved his loan.
Okay, stop right there. Now, let's stop and think now. Jim, if you didn't know any of this, and I ask you if you lent me $50 and you had $100, how much would you have?
I'd have $50 left.
So what would you think now that if a bank lent out $50 and they had $100, how much money would the bank have?
They should have $50 less.
That people, doesn't that make sense? Right, doesn't it make sense? But let's look now what Congress says. Jim, go on, please.
The bank would then lend the money to Mr. Jones by simply opening a checking account for him and depositing.
Now, stop right there. John Jones didn't want a checking account, did he?
No, he wanted a loan.
He wanted a loan. Now, what did the bank do with that alleged account? They opened up a checking account by going on.
This is what ordinarily happens when anyone, business or private individual, borrows from a bank. The bank deposits the amount of the loan in the relevant checking account.
Jim, stop right there. Why didn't the bank just give him a check for $50? Why did they have to deposit that into John Jones's account? I don't understand. So why was that done?
Why did
the banks cannot lend money?
They can't lend their deposits.
And that's all they have, because their net worth is all based upon promissory notes. 98.6% of that is not their money. It's our money, promissory notes. So what does Congress say now?
In making the loan to Mr. Jones, the bank did not reduce anyone's previous bank balance.
Stop right there. Now that's exactly proves that this man here that wrote this book now is 100% right. Right? Because he said that most people suppose that when a bank makes a loan that they lend what?
They lend people's
However,
deposits.
no bank ever lends its
deposits.
customers deposits. So now that agrees now with the House of Representatives.
Yes.
Right, so people, this is not our information. This is not mine. This is their own information. Okay? Now go on, Jim.
The total amount held in the bank demand deposit now becomes $150.
Now wait a minute. Now hold on. Now I have a problem here. Where did the $50 come from when the bank only had $100 in which to loan? Where did the $50 come from?
They monetized the negotiable instrument and created it.
Now let's go back here and read number 9 from the Federal Reserve Bank. This is not my information. This is theirs. Jim, read that.
Commercial banks, however, lend in a different way. They create new checkbook dollars and add them to a borrower's checking account. Because commercial banks create almost all new dollars, they play a special role in our financial system.
Okay, guys, look at this now. That we go out, that we borrow money from a friend, that we have $100 in our account, and lend out $50, that we're only going to have $50 in our account. That's logical, right? We all agree with that, right? Of course. But here now the House of Representatives have just said that, Mickey Paletta, that you're full of it because we don't do it that way. Right, look, the Federal Reserve Bank just said that they do it now, though, in a different way. So how do they do it? They take your signed promissory note and they negotiate that. Now that becomes a cash, Jim, that's equivalent of money. And what the banks do with it is they deposit that into the assets of the bank, and now they show that now as a demand deposit account, which allows John Jones to write out checks up to $50. The bank never risked a dime, did they? But if John Jones doesn't pay the bank back, what do you think happens to his home?
They take it.
And what did they pay for it, Jim?
Nothing.
We've been lied to. We have been deceived from day one, since we were born. What appears to be up is really down, and what appears to be on the right is really left. It's the opposite of the real facts. Okay? So what are we going to do about it? That's the question. And believe me, we're running out of time. There's not much time left before the system comes crashing down. Now, you know what it's going to be like? Try no gasoline for your cars, no heat for your home,